Welcome to my trading video for Friday the 13th. Again, I've got the euro dollar here on the 89 tick chart. I've got the NinjaTrader Dome and the euro dollar 60-minute time frame. And we're going to look at a setup here for the higher low, higher high system, that scalp. And so what we see here is we've had a series of higher lows and potentially another higher low maybe put in here if support can be maintained. Additionally, we've had a series of higher highs that have pushed up. So I'm going to start the market here and see if we can put in support at this area. One key thing to keep in mind while we're looking at our shorter term chart is where we are in the longer term, and right now we're in between support and resistance. So it looks like here we have a valid long signal, so I've entered our trade. Basically what we had is we had a candle that opened above the middle of the previous candle, which bounced off of this support level. Looking at our initial momentum here, we're seeing a bit of a stall out, and we'll see if momentum can bounce off of this support level or if we're going to keep pushing further down. On the dome here, I've got a 7-tick stop loss, and that's my normal stop area. And if we move into the positive territory, I'll be looking to trail a target of 6 pips with a 3-pip stop. So basically, if we were to move up to, say, plus 9 pips and then move back to 6, I would exit that trade, or anything, as I said, over about 6 pips. So I'm going to advance the market a little bit here and see what happens. And it looks like we are indeed stopped out. Moving further in the day, I want to point out a couple of things since our previous trade, which was at this level. First, we had another potential setup, this support level, to go long to continue this movement. We still would have been setting in a slightly higher low here, and we have the support of higher highs. The reason that this setup did not pan out was because this initial entry candle right here, which bounced off of support, was followed by a candle that did not open above the middle of that signal candle. So we did not consider this a valid signal to go long. This other potential signal right here was invalidated simply because we at this point would no longer be putting in a higher low. At this point right now in the market, what we're looking at is we've had a significant retracement from our initial trend up, and what we're looking for is a reactionary move. So this is a completely different setup that I look for in situations where we have failed to make higher highs in trend and we've not had any significant reactions for a while. So just bear this in mind, that this is a very different setup than the ones that we are typically looking for, which are the higher low, higher high setup, or vice versa for a short. So advancing the market forward here, we see that we're starting to move into the next resistance zone, which exists between 2886 and 2875. And the reason that we have a good idea of this is that there has been quite a bit of consolidation that has existed in this area. So a viable bounce from this level is definitely possible. So what we'll look for is potentially we may have a candle that will bounce off of support and then the candle following that candle will open again above the middle, and we'll look for a retracement that will start to enter into this next consolidation area somewhere between the 2900 and 2910 region. So it looks like we are bouncing off of support here, and if the next candle continues this upward direction, then we will look for a long signal. So one of the things that we also like to keep in mind is for these types of moves, as I mentioned just a moment ago, is we want to see where our next level of likely resistance is and whether we feel that we can take a good trade out of there. And it looks like if we bounce at this level, we should have adequate room for a scalp.
Order filled.
So we're now long at 28.98, and we're going to see if we can scalp out a few pips between 28.98 and this next resistance level at about 2900. So that gives us a nice 10 pip margin of breathing room before we anticipate finding any significant resistance. I'm going to advance the market forward a bit so we can see where this trade ends up. So we're starting to push up into this next potential zone of resistance here. We're still showing good signs of bullish support, and that's what I look for to hold these types of signals. We may encounter a little bit of resistance here, as we just did, but if we continue seeing buying support, there's no reason not to hold on to this scalp for a little bit longer. Now we're starting to move up into this resistance zone and can anticipate some potential resistance here. So at this point, we will continue to hold until we see a potential stall in the market, which looks like we may be coming up on here.
Order filled.
And at that point, while we still have momentum on our side, I'm going to get out of our trade, which seems to be somewhat timely as we're retracing a little bit here. Again, that may be a temporary thing, but the purpose of a good scalp is to take a bite out of the market and get in when the momentum is with us, and exit also with momentum if at all possible.